stays, one goes.
And they're into it. Both favorite card being Royal Giant. I love how both of them picked their biggest rival to be Mohamed Light as well.
Of course, to beat the best, to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Right.
And wondering if SANDBOX is just going to go right back to what we've been seeing with that mortar deck. Maybe Ram Rider instead with the bar barrel. That mortar deck has been running Fireball and Log, but it does have the Skelly barrel here. So RG, bottom of our screen.
And SANDBOX with the mortar at the top. The boss bandit just continues to dash.
And it still dashes again here. Just so much pressure from that one card. And down to 1 while SANDBOX is ticking to 5.
Yeah, and you talk about how the boss bandit just forces out so much elixir, and this is where we see 6 elixir to 4, another boss bandit at the bridge, continuing to apply insurmountable amounts of pressure.
And I love this because while it's not trying to win the game, if you make a mistake with that little HP against the boss bandit, you will lose the game. So I love that pressure there from SANDBOX, recognizing where his opponent is. They're near even with SANDBOX slightly in the lead elixir-wise. Again, great pressure there, no damage done, minute 20 down.
Yeah, and historically this matchup, Mortar does really well versus the Royal Giant, but we've seen it really go either way in this tournament. I do think the boss bandit, though, does a little bit better than Skeleton King might normally, because the ability is a slightly more efficient versus the cards like Log and E-Spirit compared to the Skeleton King ability.
And the Fish Boy. The Fish Boy locks on your Skeleton King. It's pulled out of the conversation, whereas the Boss Bandit, you can hit that ability, reset. Also the DPS from the Boss Bandit, even without using that ability, just the dash and that single target DPS, all better than the Skeleton King. So SANDBOX not in a terrible spot here, and he has a great ability to create pressure cheap in the opposite lane. So we'll see how he wants to let this game play out, and that's a lot of fireball value, Juice.
Yeah, Evo goes, cleans up the boss spin, the fireball takes everything out, and now we see the counter push. This is what Evo Ghost is best at here.
Counter push coming in. Evo Ghost has to be wrangled, but you got to think about that Evo RG first. Evo Ghost still on the board, doesn't go invisible again, and you have to play that Dark Goblin close enough to where you don't get more pops there. Hunter on tower, 26-32, first lick of damage done by ADRIEL.
Ghost is still a threat. No skeletons in cycle for the surround, so a boss bandit drops instead. Not the worst thing. It is going to counter push, and I like the adjustment here. Not going same lane to give fireball value, but instead dual lane pressure to force out more elixir on both sides.
Great set of skellies there from SANDBOX to predict the Fish Boy. And that's why this boss bandit is wreaking havoc once again. Sandy keeping up the pressure, gonna go Evo Mortar. 4 elixir in the tank for ADRIEL. Gotta use skellies to kite. Now boss bandit comes down, feeling the pressure here. How's he gonna stop it? Mortar's locked. Evo Mortar is locked.
Oh my goodness.
Boss bandit's tanking.
Fireball does hit, but the Evo Mortar gets one more connection. Boss bandit isn't able to dash, but still almost 1,300 damage done on the left-hand side for Sandman.
There are certain things that happen in this game. An E-Giant getting on your tower, an Evo Mortar connecting, it will turn the whole thing on a dime. Insane amount of damage there. 1775, 2591. SANDBOX with the defensive mortar on the board, feeling good.
Boss bandit in the back as well. Kind of slowing things down a little bit. This will give ADRIEL a chance to make a push, but SANDBOX got quite a bit of elixir for defense. Let's see if he can make it happen.
That RG just eating up some skellies, some minions, and a good counter push on the right-hand side, but has to deal with this push on the left. Fireball doesn't hit the boss bandit, but does hit the Evo barrel.
E-Spirit trying to clean everything, and it does. The log unnecessary. And once again, ADRIEL kind of showing his nerves a little bit.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Juice, that is such a great call here because now SANDBOX going to keep the pressure up. A little bit of mistiming there.
And a Royal Giant Evo in the back, trying to get the dual lane push, but SANDBOX knows it's time to pressure. But I also really like the slowness and the patience to just drop the boss man in the back and set up for defense as well.
Yeah, and like we've been talking about a lot today, not having the 3-card cycle, the ability to get 2 boss bandits down, that is so great when you're defending against Mortar. Evo Mortar just in range there. Fireball comes in, Log to clean up the Dark Goblin, and finally a couple shots going to come in on this left-hand side as the boss bandit connects on the right.
Bar barrel plus minions should be able to clean up the Evo Ghost fairly easily. Bossman is still a threat. Royal Giant drops. I don't know. I mean, maybe this works.
Skeleton soaks that shot from the boss bandit. Boss bandit goes back on Sandy's side of the board. Should get 1 RG shot. Fireball in, 12:05, 18:01, 4 seconds remain. ADRIEL drops game number 1. SANDBOX is keeping the golden run going.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. SANDBOX taking that momentum, beating back here.
And Mighty Miner comes down, feeling like it could be Hog or Miner control. And we see the Evo Furnace, who made an appearance yesterday, I believe, but we have not seen much here today. And the other side of it, SANDBOX going comfort.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. This is what SANDBOX is really known for. You know, these kind of mid-tier expensive control decks with the Zappies, with Evo Goes, the giant skeleton block lanes, and instead of the roll Hogs in this variation, we do see his favorite card, the roll Giant.
And RG cycled to the back early on here, and talking about controlling the pace of the game, SANDBOX has kind of already taken that from ADRIEL. When you get that RG in the back, now you can see everything going down this right-hand side.
Yeah, it looks like we got the prediction on what ADRIEL might use here correctly. You know, how do you control the pace of the game? You use Drill, you use Miner. He's coming out with some Evo Snowball Drill. He's going to have Poison. He's going to have the Furnace to apply pressure as well. But SANDBOX is doing a great job to continue to apply pressure and try and break through that.
High Mighty Miner trying to protect that Furnace. Furnace does not stay alive.
My goodness.
And a Piggy spawns to get even more damage on that right-hand tower. ADRIEL's down a game and down damage here in an elimination moment.
Mighty Miner does cross the bridge. We do see the Zappies. And I like this placement of the Zappies. Just high and centralized, kind of not allowing ADRIEL to go for a poison and get that tower damage.
Whoever loses this match will be sent home with $20,000, just like Ian was. Winner moves on to get at least $40,000.
Doubling the cash has got to be a big, you know, reason to be nervous here. I don't blame them, but I mean, we talk about it, you know, when we do interviews on like Mo, like, what are you going to do with the money? He's like, I don't care about the money. I'm here to win. And that's the mindset you have to have if you're either of these players.
Absolutely. Never heard one of these pros talk about that cash prize as the driving force, but you know it's on their mind. As SANDBOX has been defending very, very well, about 300 HP in the lead, opposite sides of the board.
Fisherman, will it be able to lock on? Very common idea to take those glass cannons with the high Fisherman. Evo Go, I like the idea to snipe this over the river.
And the guards are there. Mother Witch is there, though, in response. The predictive plays from Sandy. And now Mighty Miner completely useless here with the Zappies behind. Bomb Tower gonna have to put in all the work.
A really strange placement of the bomb tower, and the RG does get one shot because of that.
Yeah, you'd think the Mighty Miner stays alive, maybe a little higher, right, Juice?
Yeah, higher to try and keep the Mighty alive, or even more centralized to just let the RG have to walk a little bit further. Either way, you know, SANDBOX keeps up the pressure, and ADRIEL is forced to use the Evo Snowball. That's never what you want to do.
And you're running out of time.
Yeah,
you know, it's okay to maybe use it a little bit earlier in the game, but you've only got 90 seconds left. You're down in damage. That's going to be the best offensive weapon that you have. Again, we talked about controlling pace. SANDBOX has been doing that the whole game, while ADRIEL is rocking the deck that should be doing that for him.
Yeah, it really just seems like he's struggling to defend. He's kind of falling apart at the seams. And, you know, how long is it going to take for him to get that Evo Snowball back in cycle so you can break through the ghost here?
I'll tell you right now, Juice, it can't take more than 70 seconds, as that's the line that we've just crossed. 1 minute and 5 remains. ADRIEL fighting for his life. The MVP of day one, as many called him, looking at elimination already.
3 Snowball and Poison, but the General Jerry gets pushed back so that the Evo Skeleton Army defends everything despite the prediction.
And that one Zappy stays alive, finally gets taken out by the bomb tower. Mighty Miner up high here to clean up the RG. Another set of Zappies down. More damage coming in here from the Pigs. ADRIEL cannot figure out a way to get on offense, defend, and deal with the Mother Witch. There we go. Wow. That's actually a lot of damage.
Yeah, damage is coming through, and all of a sudden with 25 seconds, it's a very close game. And I will remind you, Andrew, the Evo Snowball is finally in cycle.
If you know that, Juice, we wonder if SANDBOX is able to keep that in mind with all this going on. High bomb tower, now that giant skeleton is going to take it out, but not enough time for another RG, is there? There might be, going to bait out the drill. Drill's on the other side of the board. Evo Snowball used defensively. ADRIEL needs to figure out how to get some damage on tower, and SANDBOX does it into the sweep by the South Korean.
I cannot